Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I've done a video. This is sort of going to be a two-parter. First I'm going to show what I purchased down in the Lower Mainland. I'm in the interior of British Columbia, and I went down to Vancouver, which is a six and a half hour drive, back in early May, mid-May, to go to the Vancouver Vinyl Fair, which is at the Main Street Hall. A very small, crowded place, and I didn't get as much as I was hoping to this year. For whatever reason, the prices this year seem to have doubled over what they were last year. I found a Boston debut album, which I already have, an original copy I bought when it came out, but I saw one there sealed for $200, and would be nice to have, but I'm not paying that for it. And Rush's first album, the one without Neil Peart. That was a used copy, very well used, and that was going for 100, 150, I seem to recall. And there was something else that I was looking for. Oh, LA Guns. LA Guns debut album. I don't know if they've made more than one, but their debut album anyway. I've been looking for ages. Found one there, unsealed, very well played. The cover a bit beat up, $250. And this is Canadian. I had my list, I stuck to it, and I found a few things. See what I got here. They're a little bit out of order, sorry about this. So at the vinyl fair, I picked up off my want list. I'll take them out of the sleeve so you can not get the shiny effect. The first one is a soundtrack, and I've been looking for this one for a long time. There's a lot of cool songs on it, and that is the soundtrack to Metropolis, the rock and roll themed remake of it. Not themed, but it's got the rock and roll soundtrack to it. There's a lot of great songs on here. Pat Benatar, Here's My Heart, Freddie Mercury, Love Kills. Yeah, some really cool stuff. There's the full jacket. If you don't know the movie, it's a silent movie from the 20s, I believe it was. Fritz Lang directed it, I believe. And about this utopian society living in this city where the poor are poor and the rich are filthy rich. There's the inner liner for it. And I don't think the label is anything too funky. Yeah, just a CBS label. So that was on my list for a long time. So I was very glad to get that. We'll slide her back in her jacket. If you ever get a chance to see it, and it's got the modern soundtrack to it, watch it because it's really interesting. And the second off my list, well, actually this wasn't on my list, but the band is on my list because I love this band. And this is a greatest hits package from 79 to 88, and I'm talking about Saxon, Decade of the Eagle. And this is still in the shrink wrap. It's not sealed, but it's still in the shrink. Still got the hype sticker on the other side, sorry. This camera is backwards, it's like looking in a mirror, everything's weird. So there's blurb on the band on the inside sleeve, some photos, and on the back more stuff about the band. I haven't read all this yet, but I'm going to. It seems really interesting. And yeah, just a band name on the label. I don't know if this has been played more than once or twice. The vinyl is just impeccable. The store, well, it's a store I bought this from at the Vinyl Fair. He comes and sets up a booth all the time. He's in Victoria, called the Turntable, and he always has good stuff. And it's always a bit of money, but it's always worth it because it's always in good shape. So anything I buy from him, I can trust. So that's that one. And the third one I got there, I think I only bought 3 there. Yeah, the third one I bought there was Rush. Now, I have, very young, when I was starting collecting records, 12, 13, I bought the Archives box set, which is the first 3 albums in a box, but it doesn't have the album art. It doesn't have the jacket. It's just albums in plain white sleeves. I picked up Caress of Steel last year, and I picked up, this year I picked up Fly By Night. And like I said, I saw the original debut album, but I wasn't going to pay what he wanted for it. Now in this one, the cover is pretty beat up. The jacket's pretty beat up, but I will find an upgrade for it somewhere down the line. It's just so hard to find, so I'll find an upgrade cover somewhere eventually. But it's just on the Mercury label, and the vinyl is in pristine shape. That's what I want. I play the vinyl, I don't play the jacket. So the vinyl is in excellent shape. Like I said, the jacket, I have it now, but I will find an upgrade copy sooner or later. Somebody will have one. And I think I only paid like $10 for this. And again, all the prices I say are in Canadian, because that's where I am. So we'll slide him back. And then after the vinyl fair, the next day, I was staying down there for three whole days I had down there. Way too long to spend in the city when you've been away like I have for a couple of years living in the country. And the next day we went to my friend Crazy Bob's record store in Langley. And I picked up 4 albums there. I don't have any albums by this artist, and I don't know why. I've never picked any up. I just never bothered. And that is Jeff Beck, and this is Flash. I don't really know Jeff Beck's music. I know he's an awesome guitarist, but I just don't know his music. Now when I play this, I may very well recognize something. This is on the Epic label, nothing fancy there. It's the back sleeve, so I'm looking forward to hearing that. My first introduction to Jeff Beck. My buddy says this is a great album, and him and I have very similar tastes, so I trust him. And another one is the another greatest hits. This is a group called the Babies anthology. They were a big radio single band in the 70s and early 80s. Back cover. So yeah, there's a couple of songs on here that I recognize from the radio from when I was a kid in the 70s. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Don't have anything by them. And I think this is a shout out to my friend Bernard, the first of a couple of shout outs to him at Hitch a Ride is his channel. Check him out, world's biggest Boston fan, great guy. I believe, Bernard, that I sent you this album because it was on your want list and you didn't have it at the time, so I picked it up and sent it to you. And that is Roger Hodgson. I think that's pronounced Hi Hi, H-A-I, Hi Hi, I'm going to call it, on the back cover. And yeah, I didn't have this one. I have Eye of the Storm, but I didn't have this one. It's the inner sleeve. Just lyrics on the back. Yeah. So Bernard says it's a good album. I trust him. I will. I liked Eye of the Storm, and I loved his work in Supertramp. So I see no reason why I won't be happy with this one. And guilty pleasure, one of my favorite TV shows from the 80s, Miami Vice. I have the soundtrack, the first album. This is just volume 2. And I don't know what was on this. Take Me Home by Phil Collins. Send It to Me, Gladys Knight. That's a good song. Love Her, Roxy Music. That's a good song. Lives in the Balance, Jackson Brown. Yeah, there's some good stuff on this album. It's a little made up with the first one, and I got both now, so. I had gift certificates for my birthday a week earlier at Crazy Bob's, so that took up my gift certificates. And then we went down the street to a store called Everything But Diamonds, also in Langley. And this is a higher end, not a thrift store, but a used store. He gets tons of stuff in trade, but he only keeps the good stuff. So his album collection that he sells as vinyl is all pristine. It's all high-end stuff. It's all in good shape. All the chaff and stuff that he just gets rid of, donates, trades to other stores, whatever. But he sells vinyl. He sells videos, die-cast cars, video games, comic books. But again, everything is in great shape. And this is a band that I've been looking for albums for a long time, but you can never find them in the wild. And he had one, it's Wasp. That's The Last Command. Again, my buddy Paul that I was with says this is a great album. 80s hair band. Gee, what do you think? Guy up on the left looks like imitation Steve Tyler. Bottom below him looks like a imitation Aussie. So I know their music, extremely hard to find, at least where I am anyway. Anything metal, heavy, hard rock that comes out in stores or flea markets or whatever, it gets snapped up right away. So that's all the stuff I picked up at the vinyl fair and at the stores. And then 2 weeks ago, I want to say, I received a VCLT from my friend Bernard. And I'll cover up his address, but I got a box. And I've already opened the box. Nobody wants to see anybody ripping open a box. It's just a box. And spoiler alert, I was going to act surprised, but I knew what was in here because he couldn't send it before I went down to the vinyl fair, and he didn't want me to waste money and pick up stuff that I already had or that he had coming to me. So we're friends on YouTube and also on Discogs, so we have access to each other's want list, and he saw mine. He went to a vinyl fair in, I believe, Montreal, or a suburb of Montreal anyway, and he picked up 2 off my list for me. And again, thank you very much, Bernard. That's awesome of you. You're an incredible person. And the first one, not a great album. Not their best album by any sense of the imagination, but for some bands, I'm a completist. I want the whole catalog, and this is the last album by this band I did not have, and that is one of my favorites. So my favorite band seems to change every week, depending on what my listening tastes are at that time. But this is Queen, the Flash Gordon soundtrack. And the back. I never saw the movie, but I did hear a song or two of it on the radio when it came out, and thought, I'll pass this. But now that I've got the whole catalog, I can sleep easier at night. Flash Gordon label. And the record sleeve is A&A Records and Tapes, which I don't know if they were in the States, but they certainly were in Canada. I practically grew up in that store in Lougheed Mall in Coquitlam, near where I lived growing up. And wow, so many of my records came from that store. I got to know all the staff by name, and they got to know me by name because I was in there every time I got my allowance or did money from paper route or mowing lawns or whatever. It would go towards records. Oh, to be a kid again. So I got that one, and he also sent me debut album from Kansas, which was on my list. And back, guys in the band. Looks like a big storm in the background. But that is really cool. Thank you, Bernard, very much. I really appreciate this. I don't know why you're being so good to me. I will repay you in kind some point when I go to my next vinyl fair, and I'll take your list with me and see what I can find off of your list. Because I know our lists grow and shrink and change all the time. And I think that is it. Yeah, keep this under 15 minutes if I can. I'm at 13 and a half right now. Other than that, yeah, I think that's it. So thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you found this interesting. If not, change channel. Have a good one, guys. Take care.